Welcome to the You Empowered podcast with your host, Justine Jetty. If you want to unlock your potential and step into the most authentic, healthiest, and happiest version of you, then you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into practical, evidence-based strategies for your habits, mindset, and health so you can create a life and a body you love. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to the You Empowered podcast. I'm Justine Jetty. Before we dive into today's episode, I've just got one quick favor to ask you. If you're enjoying this podcast, it's giving you value and you're learning stuff from it, please make sure you're subscribed, rate the podcast, and if you're feeling extra generous, leave a review. It takes less than a minute, but it makes a huge difference in helping more women find these conversations and get the support they need. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about burnout. Now, more specifically, I'm going to be sharing 5 unusual things that I do to avoid it. And no, I'm not going to be giving you some generic bullshit advice on getting more sleep or eating better or managing your stress. You've heard those things a million times before. I'm going to be sharing with you 5 real strategies that I use in my own life and with hundreds of clients to protect your energy, avoid the burnout cycle, and stay consistent even when life gets messy. So let's start with the first one. I meet myself where I'm at and I adjust accordingly. Now, this might seem obvious, but your 100% is going to look different on certain days. So rather than beating yourself up or pushing yourself through to exhaustion, adjust things and meet yourself where you're at on that day. Because your imperfect action will always beat perfect inaction. So rather than not doing anything because I can't do everything, I will prioritize the most important things on that day to get done, whether that's work-related stuff or health and fitness-related stuff, and I'll just focus on that. Everything that is not urgent or important, I will push to either the next day or somewhere else in the week. The second unusual thing that I do to avoid burnout is I identify what my most pressing need is. So, for example, let's say that I get a bad night's sleep and I start my day exhausted and I have a full day of work ahead of me. I'll look at where I can take breaks, and in those breaks, I might lie down. I might take 10 minutes to sip my coffee in silence, which is giving my brain like sensory rest. So I can just focus on simple ways that I can meet that need on that day. Sounds simple, but it makes a difference. The third unusual thing that I do to avoid burnout is I prioritize these 3 things that give me energy. Now, most people know that good nutrition is fuel and a good quality sleep is good for your energy. But the third thing is doing something small each day to regulate your nervous system, because this impacts your energy and your mood and how you're showing up for yourself. So it could be doing like 5 minutes of breath work, doing some grounding, some meditation, or simply just having a 10-minute nap on the couch. Everyone should be allowed to take at least 10 minutes of their day to themselves. Now, I do prioritize these 3 things anyway, but when I'm in a busy season or I'm just noticing that my energy and focus is depleted, more so than usual, I will prioritize these 3 things even more. This means I'll prioritize going to bed at a certain time and doing a pre-bed routine to wind down, making sure I'm fueling properly by having solid meals at regular times that are high in protein and fiber, and getting enough carbohydrates, especially having carbs with dinner. That's going to help with muscle recovery and cognitive function as well. The fourth unusual thing I do to avoid burnout is I protect my energy like a bodyguard. This means I say no to anything that is not necessary or urgent. It means protecting my time, my energy, and even if that means disappointing someone, because I know that if I burn out, that will have a far worse consequence than saying no to one person, one event, or one thing. People pleasing and poor boundaries are what lead to burnout. So ask yourself, where can I say no more? And remember, you can say no with kindness, but no is a full sentence. You don't need to over-explain yourself either. And the fifth and final thing that I do to avoid burnout is I audit where my energy is going. Now, most people say burnout is not doing enough of the things that bring you joy, and that's partly true, but I'm going to share with you a really practical way to track that and make changes. So most people, when they schedule their days, their weeks, their month, they only schedule based on their time. They don't take into account their energy. So an easy way to do this, and you can do this right now as you're listening to this podcast, is you can open up your weekly calendar, and if you've got 3 highlighters or if you're using your iPhone to do it, pick 3 different colors. And with the first highlighter or color, you're going to highlight over all the activities in your current schedule that light you up. These are activities, whether they're certain things you do in your business or your job or your hobbies or your social activities or the healthy habits that you have. These are all the things that are in your current schedule that give you energy. They light you up. They bring you joy. So you're going to take that first color and highlight all of those things in your schedule. With the second color, you're going to highlight everything that is neutral to you in your schedule and in your calendar. So this is any activity that it doesn't give you energy, but it doesn't take it away or drain it either. So it's neutral. And once you've highlighted the neutral activities in your schedule, you're going to take the last color or highlighter and you're going to highlight everything in your calendar that actually takes away and drains your energy. And when you've done this, I want you to take a moment and actually look at the color that's the most dominant across your calendar. When I've done this activity with clients who have been fearful that they're about to burn out or they're struggling with their energy levels, almost always I will see that the most dominant color across their calendar is they're doing way too many activities that drain their energy, like upwards of 70% of their week. So look at all the activities you do in your week that are draining you and that are not adding value. It could be spending hours scrolling on Instagram. It could be attending a meeting that could be an email or a Loom video. Whatever it is, go through that and look at those activities in your week that drain you and that aren't important. And see if you can either shift how you do them, so you're changing your approach to doing them so they're not as draining, or see if you can delegate them, or just stop doing them altogether if that's an option. Avoiding burnout is about protecting your energy and showing up for yourself in ways that matter most. And these 5 shifts are how I built a strong body, a sustainable business, and a life that doesn't break me. And they can do the same for you as well. Until next time, take care.